Have you ever watched a movie and spotted something that is not supposed to be there? Well, editors work tirelessly to create flawless movies, but sometimes mistakes just slip through the cracks. And in this video, we'll look at some of the editing mistakes in 15 movies that editors didn't want you to see. Well, this is the movie called Braveheart, and there are a lot of editing mistakes that most of us missed. Well, during the movie when they were running into battle, if you look closely, some of the weapons that were supposed to be made of steel were wobbly and actually made of rubber, and I don't think they wanted us to see that. Again, when the other side of the battle were charging forward on their horses, looking closely, you can see a white car in the background. This car was not supposed to be there because this is during the 14th century. And later on in the movie, you can see a guy from the future wearing a cap in the background. What was he doing in those times? In this movie, The Gladiator, there are also tons of funny mistakes that actually made the movie. Well, while Maximus was showing off to the crowd, this guy in a modern white t-shirt appeared with the camera in the crowd. I don't think he was supposed to be there. In another shot, if you look closely at the crowd, you can see they have water bottles, which is really interesting because this is back in the Romans' times. Well, back in the day, Roman battles were gruesome, but if you look closely, the swords do not go through the body, but through the armpits. And later on, we see the same thing happening again. There's another one on this scene where this chariot flips over. Looking closely at the back, you can see an air tank. I don't think they existed at that time. Well, this is Iron Man 2 released back in 2010, and there are two mistakes that I really cannot unsee. In this scene, when Natasha takes down Happy in the ring, if you look closely at her face while she was taking him down, she's a completely different person. And when the directors were asked about this, they said they didn't want her to get hurt so early in the movie. Well, the second mistake is when Tony was checking his blood toxicity at the mirror. Look closely. His reflection puts his finger in his mouth before he does. Look again. Well, in this emotional Avengers Endgame in the final battle, as you know, Thanos cuts Captain America's shield in half with his sword, but a few moments later in this wide view of all the Avengers, if you take a close look at Captain America, you can see his shield is back to normal, and in the next shot, it is broken in half again. And again in this shot, pausing the video, you can see that Doctor Strange is wearing his necklace. And if you remember in the Infinity War, Thanos destroyed it. And in the rest of the battle, he's not wearing it. Tell us if you've noticed any other editing mistakes that we missed in the comments section. This is Too Fast, Too Furious back in the day when Fast and Furious movies were about racing and fast cars. In this scene where Brian and Roman were racing at a highway, when Brian was doing a handbrake turn, if you look carefully, you can see that he literally pulled air instead of a handbrake. I don't understand how editors missed this. Well, there was another editing mistake in this first Fast and Furious movie when Letty was about to race this guy. When she pulled up with her car to the starting line, if you look closely, her car have racing seats. But when the race was about to start, in this shot, the seats became normal seats. In this Transformers Age of Extinction, there's one mistake that many people missed. As the main character Mark Wahlberg comes up to help Optimus Prime fight Megatron, this wall next to him blows up. But if you take a keen gaze, there's a guy there who wasn't there when Mark took cover. This man appeared only when Megatron was shooting the wall, but disappears right after. This happened really fast. I'm sure editors didn't think we'll see it. This is a movie called Top Gun, and a crowd was cheering Maverick after a successful mission. When the crowd cheered for him, this guy came and gave him a hug. There's nothing wrong about that, right? But look again, he wasn't wearing glasses when he picked him up, and when he put him down, he was wearing one. I really don't get how the editors missed this, but I'm pretty sure that they saw it later, and maybe that's why he wasn't wearing them in the latest Top Gun movie. Do you remember in the Black Panther movie when Princess Shuri made shoes for King T'Challa to go with his suit? Well, later in the movie in this scene, as he goes up the stairs, If you look closely, you can see he's wearing different shoes, which kind of looks like formal shoes, very different to what Princess Shuri made him. Tell us what you think in the comments section. Are these different shoes, or we're just seeing things? I don't think most people noticed this one in the Game of Thrones on this scene when the wildling was drinking with Jon Snow. Zooming in close in the background, you can see someone left a coffee cup. And when they were filming, the Khaleesi and the editors didn't notice it. I am pretty sure they didn't have coffee or latte back then. In this movie, The Bourne Identity, there's just one super funny mistake that most people missed. At this scene, Jason was supposed to vanish. Well, he does vanish as intended, but if you look closely, when he's walking off the scene, this car passes by, and it's supposed to look like he disappeared, but you can literally see him running behind it. Let's just forgive them. There was no VFX back in 2002. Well, in the movie The American Sniper, in this heartbreaking scene, the actor Bradley Cooper snuggles with his baby. Apparently, when they were filming this scene, the baby that they were supposed to use wouldn't stop crying, so they ended up using a doll. You can clearly see the actor moving the baby's arm with his thumb, which sparked a huge debate online. What was really going on with the editors? In this original Jurassic Park movie, there's a very disturbing mistake that is really hard to unsee. In this super famous kitchen scene, if you look really closely to when the raptors come in, you can see a hand touching the raptor's butt. Slowing down the video, you can see a hand touching it. Apparently, a crew member was trying to keep balance of the model dinosaur, and it slipped through editing and made it to the final movie. In this iconic movie Quantum of Solace, a really hilarious mistake happened, and I'm still asking myself, how did it get past editing? In this scene, when Daniel Craig was using his phone, behind him you can see a guy sweeping air, like literally. Looking again, you can see the broom is a few inches up in the air. I really don't understand how editors missed this. Well, in this series, The Twilight Saga, on this scene where Bella and Edward were having lunch, if you look closely, she was literally pouring empty ketchup, and this guy is pouring a sauce from an empty container. Apparently, they got a lot of criticism because of this scene and ended up deleting it. I'm pretty sure that most of you guys love the movie Home Alone, and I really apologize to you guys for ruining it. But do you remember this scene where Kelvin was getting ready to ride the slid down the stairs? As he does, you can see that the stairs don't perfectly align with the door. But even if Kelvin somehow makes it out the door when he's airborne, you can see wheels underneath the slid. I'm pretty sure that they're not supposed to be there. On the next scene, when Kelvin was running out of the church, you can see that he's wearing a dark-colored pants, but somewhere between leaving the church and arriving home, his pants suddenly turned blue up until he closed the door inside, and a few seconds later, when he was setting up booby traps, he's back in dark-colored pants. Besides these continuity issues, it is still one of the best movies to watch with the family. We appreciate you for watching till the end. Since you're still here, please check out this video if you want to see 15 assassination attempts caught on camera. See you there!